Microsoft Azure revolutionizes how organizations operate, innovate, and grow. With a secure, AI-ready cloud platform, Azure empowers customers to achieve their goals and deliver transformative experiences.
We have our NBA content available to our fans on every platform out there in the marketplace. And with that massive workload, we needed a foundation that is resilient and secure with the ability to process information in real time.
With Microsoft, we've intertwined AI services into every facet of our infrastructure. So we just have to worry about delivering what we do best, and that's basketball.
At Mars, we believe that pets make the world a better place.
There's a shortage of veterinary-trained radiologists in the industry. Azure AI significantly speeds up large-scale model training, including vision language models.
Clinics are now getting results in minutes, not hours or days. Over the last 12 months, RapidRead has potentially saved hundreds of pets in life-threatening situations.
BMWs are built with quality and reliability that people trust.
Testing of all functions plays an important role.
We built the mobile data recorder into the car's digital nervous system, managed by Azure Kubernetes Service. Azure is the turbocharger for delivering the right data to the right person on a large scale.
Please welcome Chief Product Officer, Azure Core, Jeremy Winter.
All right. Hello and welcome to our Azure General Session. It's just great to be with all of you here, both in person in Chicago and online. Thank you for the time this afternoon. Look, you've heard a lot from Scott and Satya already and others today, and now it's time to get into our fast-paced tour across Azure, showcasing key tech and getting deep into the platform. Since we last came together in 2023, customers worldwide have been building their own AI solutions on Azure to drive innovation. And there's no question, AI is shaping the world, the transformation is occurring now, and it's well beyond experimentation, with real impact, as you're seeing here. There's just a ton of value. And while AI is creating new opportunities, scaling and operationalizing AI can be a challenge, and something we deeply understand and can help you with. You're experiencing these challenges across your entire stack. Things like complexity in the development, choosing which tools and AI models that you use, thinking about just that lack of data organization, and to get out in front of it, how do I pull all that information together? Power, cost, efficiency of the infrastructure to scale those workloads. And don't forget about security and how I think about governing the AI, and how do I think about meeting compliance? And finally, talent and skilling to take advantage of AI. Now, as we talk with you and your teams, there's a common thread: the need for the cloud to simplify the complex and accelerate growth. And this is going to require a cloud platform that can power all your business needs, a cloud partner who helps deliver innovation with AI, who provides the choices and the flexibility to meet your unique needs, and who you can trust to deliver security, compliance, and reliability. Because we put the customer, you, first, we invest heavily to make it easy to you to really take advantage of the same modern platform that we at Microsoft use to support our own innovation. And you heard from Satya and Scott call it the Copilot and AI stack. Well, at the heart of it, it's the Azure platform. And now we're making it easy for you and your teams to use the same Copilot stack to build your own AI solutions to deliver value back to your organizations. And as I said, the Azure platform is the heart of the Copilot stack. And today, my colleagues and I are going to show you the latest Azure innovations across AI, data, and infrastructure. Plus, we're going to include some pretty cool demos. So you ready to kick this thing off? All right, let's first talk about Azure AI Foundry. And please welcome Asha Sharma up.
Thank you, Jeremy. And hello, Ignite. Woo! This morning, you saw so many incredible demos. But I want to take you back to 1968, when Douglas Engelbart showed a demo that changed the course of history. He showed us that the future was interactive, and it was computing. AI future that had real-time, graphical, interconnected, and collaborative ways of working. And that vision would go on to shape the next 50 years of computing. But together, we turned those ideas into the systems and platforms that the world runs on today. So now we're standing at another turning point. The next 50 years of progress will be compressed into just 5, and training compute is doubling every 6 months. The pace isn't just accelerating, it's exponential. And this isn't just about better tools, it's about new possibilities. For example, GitHub Copilot can now write working code in just seconds. Our advanced speech recognition now translates instantly into 76 languages. Check out this video that I made just yesterday where I'm speaking English the entire time and our ASR translates me universally in real time. English is my first and native language. Y gracias a la IA, ahora puedo conectarme con todos en el mundo. 我会说超过100种不同的语言. Quand je crie, ça crie avec moi. 私が囁くと、それも一緒に囁くの. AI की वजह से हम दुनिया को और करीब ला रहे हैं. This last year, thank you. This last year, we've seen tremendous growth in AI adoption, and all of those customers are coming to Azure. We now have more than 60,000 customers driving transformation across almost every industry. And it's not just customers, it's usage that's growing too. We've seen a 10x increase in monthly active builders since January. Azure OpenAI consumption has doubled over the last 2 quarters. And every day, we are now seeing more than 2 billion queries on Azure AI Search. To meet this moment, though, there's been this explosion of more than 70,000 tools across almost every aspect of the lifecycle, from code to cloud to governance. And to keep up, enterprises are telling us that they don't want to rip and replace. They just want a stack that works with their existing systems. So security, configuration, logging, AI should enhance these, not disrupt these. But this era isn't just about a new flexible stack. The applications themselves are changing too. They're moving from single models to orchestrated systems that learn and adapt continuously. So, to support this shift, we're launching the Azure AI Foundry, a unified platform to design, customize, and manage transformational AI applications. Let's roll the video.
It's about you, and them, and them. Every developer, the builders, the implementers, the groundbreakers. The power of AI is yours. So select models confidently, test them, compare them, and find your best fit. Activate diverse data from any source, in any form, and turn it into reliable intelligence. Customize models with retrieval and fine-tuning to deliver performance that stands out. Safeguard every layer with trustworthy AI from the start and protect against new risks. Design personalized experiences without boundaries, always learning and adapting. Innovation prompts more innovation. It doesn't stop. It only gets better. You're creating the future, and Azure is here for all of it. Keep iterating, keep scaling. Be unstoppable.
The future we see is simple. Every app will be an agent-powered application. And to achieve this, Foundry has a comprehensive model catalog, advanced customization like fine-tuning and distillation, as well as enterprise-grade observability to ensure reliability at scale. Our focus is to provide the data-powered AI platform for the modern enterprise. And we do this through a few core principles. First, AI-powered development to build faster. Second, AI-powered state management to scale confidently. And third, AI-powered trust to ensure safety. Now, to help us explore AI-powered development, I am thrilled to welcome my friend Thomas and CEO of GitHub to share more. Hi, Thomas.
Hey, Asha, and hello, Ignite. GitHub and Copilot have changed the way we are building software. And you know what? For nerds like me, coding is no longer the only primitive in software development. Models are the new code. and AI engineers are on the rise. That's why we launched GitHub Models together with the Azure AI team, an interactive playground for you to experiment and build with models right where your code lives. Let me show you how that works. So here in front of me, we have the GitHub Marketplace with all the models that we're offering. And let's jump into OpenAI GPT-4o. And I can read all the details in the README. I can look at evaluation data, at the transparency report. But what I really want to do is want to play with the model. And we're here at Ignite, so I want to use the new grounding feature to figure out what Copilot sessions are happening in Ignite. And I've already uploaded the PDF file of all the session information, so I use that for model context, and I give it a system prompt that tells the model that I want it to be an assistant that answers my questions about that document. So now I can go here into the playground and ask about Copilot sessions. And I also wanted to include links. So let's see how it uses the grounding data to return, hopefully, all the Copilot sessions to me. Here we go. There is a GitHub Copilot and VS Code, your AI thought partner. There's an online session with Jason Edkovich on Copilot extensions. And then we also have one with Brittany and Jessica on Copilot autofix. Amazing. But text is cool and all, but some of the multimodal capabilities of these new models are pretty wild. So let's jump back to the marketplace and use the filter here to look for multimodal models. Cool. There's 5 of them. Let's use the Phi 3.5 Vision Instruct model. And if I go here into the playground again, I can actually compare the model against a different model. So let's compare Phi 3.5 Vision Instruct against GPT-4o Mini. They're both small models, so let's see how they perform against each other. And if I look here, I can actually decide whether I want all the parameters in my chat input to be synced or not. And in this case, I want to. And we're here in Chicago, so let's use some pizza as example image and have the model describe what we are seeing. What type of pizza is that? Right? And that's obviously a demo scenario, but I want to use that output and the speed between the two models to figure out which model do I want to use for my application. So Phi says this is pepperoni pizza, seems about right, but GPT-4o says it's deep dish pizza. And A, that's the best pizza, and B, that's a reason for me to pick that model. So let's give it a thumbs up and remove the compare mode. And now I have this idea. I want to build an app where users can upload their photos and AI helps them to understand what's on the photo, location, maybe a link to the map. And so I go back here and add another system prompt where I tell the model I want to return a JSON feed that describes the image, gives me the latitude and longitude and a link. And let's see if I have another image in my photo album here. And this is a little bit weird because the river of Chicago is green. So let's see what that is and if the model can handle this. And voila. So, it's Chicago River during St. Patrick's Day. And the river is dyed green, and you can see latitude and longitude are coming through, and I also got a link. Cool, so now I have all the information I need to build my application, and of course I can go here into the code tab, and I get a JavaScript code, and can also switch from JavaScript to Python, and I can copy and paste that code into my code space and get going. And the coolest thing is it works right with my GitHub token, right? So I don't even have to figure out how to do authentication, and I can work through my inner loop on my machine. I can go to GitHub Actions, and hopefully get my app ready for production. And when I'm ready for that, I go here into Git API key, and I can just get my production key from Azure AI. GitHub models do not only let me build amazing AI applications, they also help me with all kinds of other tasks within the developer lifecycle. You can use it from Copilot with the Add Models extension. You have a new experimentation feature to run your model evals right from Copilot. And you can even use models in GitHub Actions via the GitHub CLI. And here's the really good news. GitHub Models is available to anyone with a GitHub account for no charge today. That's over, thank you. That's over 100 million developers who are now able to be over 100 million AI engineers, all in github.com. Back to you, Asha.
Thank you, Thomas. Now, let's leap into the application design on Foundry. As apps have evolved from static systems to dynamic learning systems, the challenge is clear. How do we actually connect knowledge, memory, actions models into one unified framework? That's exactly what our agent service is designed to solve. giving organizations the tools to create robust, adaptive applications that deliver intelligence at scale in just hours. Agents are powerful because they can reason and act and adapt, but they're only as good as the data that they're built on. That's where Azure AI Content Understanding comes in, a new service also announced today, transforming unstructured and structured data into actionable intelligence for agentic application workflows. Now, to show you more about how to manage your app estate, I'm excited to welcome 𝗬𝗲, our VP of Product for Azure AI Foundry. Hi, 𝗬𝗲.
Thank you, Asha. Hola, Chicago. It's great to be here at Ignite. Many organizations have business processes that are extremely manual and time-consuming. Let me tell you a story about 𝗬𝗲, a dedicated financial analyst at Woodgrove Bank. 𝗬𝗲 loves helping her clients achieve their financial goals, but she faces some challenges: information overload, time constraints, and keeping up with the ever-evolving financial market. Now, 𝗬𝗲 regularly receives requests from clients around portfolio investments. Today, she has one here from John. He's concerned about his investment portfolio. Addressing John's concerns could take 𝗬𝗲 several hours, reviewing past meeting notes, gathering the latest market data on specific stocks, analyzing portfolio performance, and creating visuals, and then crafting a personalized and professional response for her clients. Now, leveraging the Azure AI agent service, Woodgrove Bank has built an AI-powered application that transforms this process, and they do it in a very simple way with using the agent service. The result is simple. What used to take hours now take minutes. The agent processes all of the information. 𝗬𝗲 reviews the agent works, makes any necessary tweaks. I see here all of the charts coming up. And then once the draft is ready, I can efficiently focus on more time to spend with my clients. So all of these is powered by the Azure AI agent services, where businesses can enhance productivity, scale with ease, and stay compliant. And the impact extends beyond finance to healthcare, legal, customer service, and more. As a solution builder, you can use all the value that Azure AI Foundry has to offer with over 1,800 models in the model catalog: evaluation, content safety, and experimentation. The Azure AI Agent Service not only works with OpenAI models, but also supports Meta Llama Stack, models from Cohere, and models from Mistral. Thank you, and back to you, Asha.
Thank you, 𝗬𝗲. We're empowering developers and enterprises to build transformational AI applications. But transformation can't come at the expense of trust. AI-powered trust ensures that every system is secure, safe, and private by design. Trust is not optional. It's the foundation of every AI system that we build. And to achieve this, it requires more than principles. It demands action. Trustworthy AI is only possible when we bring together our commitments, like the Secure Future Initiative, and AI principles, and pair them with product capabilities. This approach enables customers to confidently use and build AI systems while meeting the highest standards of accountability. So today I'm excited to share that we've introduced 2 new features to help you build responsibly. First, risk evaluations for image content. This is a new capability in Foundry that expands beyond text-based evaluations to include risk assessments for image-based inputs and outputs. Second, Management Center for streamlined compliance workflows. Think about this as a centralized tool within Foundry that provides a unified view of subscription and resource information, such as connected resources, access privileges, and quota usage. This is the beginning of simplifying the process of maintaining compliance, managing governance of your entire AI lifecycle. Now, Azure AI Foundry isn't just a platform. It's the launchpad for the next era of intelligent applications. Built to scale, designed for trust, and ready to transform how we work, innovate, and lead. This platform is backed by an AI-powered data platform. And so let's roll a video and welcome Arun to tell you about the Microsoft Intelligent Data Platform. Thank you.
Our approach to trustworthy AI is backed by commitments and capabilities. With our Secure Future initiative, security is a priority above all else. And our capabilities help you discover security risks, protect your AI applications and sensitive data, and stay ahead of regulations. We believe in your right to privacy. So whether you're using Copilot, Copilot plus PC, or building your own applications with Azure AI, we value, protect, and defend your privacy. And our capabilities, like Azure's confidential computing, help keep your data private at every stage. Safety is the cornerstone of fair and unbiased AI. Informed by our AI principles, our guardrails for generative AI help mitigate risks like hallucinations, so you can spot and correct them in real time. And our evaluation capabilities help you assess generative AI outputs for quality and safety. Microsoft Trustworthy AI. Unlocking human potential starts with trust.
All right. Thank you so much, Asha. Hello, everyone. I'm Arun Ulagaratchagan, and I run the Azure Data team here at Microsoft. We all recognize that AI is rapidly changing the world, and it's no surprise to anyone here. However, we also recognize that AI is only as good as your data because it is data that is the fuel that powers AI. So getting enterprise data ready for AI has become a critical priority for everyone. Unfortunately, it's a lot harder and more expensive than it needs to be. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of products and technologies in the data and AI space, and the burden is on you to figure out which products to use, which ones work together, how they're priced and licensed, and how to bring them together to create business value. And that's why, from a Microsoft perspective, we have focused on pulling all of our capabilities together into the Copilot and AI stack, so our products just work, and you can focus your developers on moving your business forward. Now, in the Azure Data team, our goal is to take all of the products and technologies in data and bring them together into just two things: Azure Databases and Microsoft Fabric. Now, let me start with Azure Databases. We have the most comprehensive portfolio of databases in the industry. We have SQL Server, which after 3 decades is still the world's leading transactional database with enterprise scale, reliability, and security, and is available to you on any location and in any cloud. And today, we announced the preview of the next version, which is SQL Server 2025, with a ton of innovation, including bringing AI capabilities natively into SQL Server. We also have a comprehensive portfolio of PaaS services, including Azure SQL DB, Azure Cosmos DB, which is a NoSQL and document database, and Azure Databases for Postgres and MySQL. And if you look at the momentum we have across our database portfolio, it's absolutely stunning. 97% of the Fortune 500, pretty much every large company on the planet, uses Azure SQL today. Now, Cosmos DB is very quickly becoming the database of choice for the world's AI workloads. According to a recent Bloomberg CIO survey, Cosmos DB is #1 in building GenAI applications across any cloud, across any database provider. And if you look at Postgres, not only do we have a world-class offering with Postgres Flexible Server, but we're also #1 among hyperscalers in making contributions back to the open source Postgres community. And that's where you can see customers all over the world are selecting Azure Databases. Let me just give you 3 quick examples. DocuSign, the leader in e-signature solutions, is a huge user of Azure SQL Hyperscale, and they use Azure OpenAI for document intelligence. UBS, a large banking company and a leader in wealth management, chose Azure Database for Postgres to migrate off their legacy Tier 1 database. And OpenAI, the fastest growing consumer application in history, is built on top of Azure Cosmos DB, managing over 2.5 petabytes of data and processing over 1 trillion transactions. Now let's drill into Postgres for AI workloads. Now we know that embeddings are foundational to AI, but working with them at scale is both compute and storage intensive. So today we are announcing a new elastic cluster feature for Postgres Flexible Server. To show you this in more detail, please welcome on stage Charles Feddersen, Partner Director of Product for PostgreSQL. Welcome, Charles.
Thanks, Arun. Hi, everybody. Postgres is an amazing database for building new AI applications. Its robust relational engine, combined with native vector support, makes it easy for developers to build AI apps. But scaling Postgres can be hard. And so today, I'll show you how easy it is to scale your AI apps using a distributed vector index and the new Elastic Cluster feature in Azure Database for Postgres. Let's go ahead and start in the SQL editor. I've got a table where I'm storing my data. This is a multi-tenant app, and so there's a tenant ID. You can also see that one of the columns uses the vector type where the embeddings are stored. Now, I'll run a typical similarity search query that uses the cosine distance operator to return results with the closest meaning to my text embedding. My app issues this query to the database every time a user asks a question, so I need it to perform really well at scale. And you can see the single query returns quickly, but let's test the throughput scalability for my app. So here, I've kicked off a load test. The test issues the same vector search at scale, and we can see that a single Postgres server can sustain about 2,000 queries per second. And if I check the server usage in the monitoring pane, the portal is 100% saturated, the CPU, sorry. Let me show you how the new Elastic Cluster feature in Azure Database for Postgres can scale out this workload beyond the limits of a single server. In the Flexible Server portal, I'll go ahead and create a new Elastic Cluster. This is an increment to the existing server. The Elastic Cluster, it has 4 nodes, so I'm going to scale out my workload. The Elastic Cluster is a shared nothing architecture that spreads the data across compute and storage nodes for highly scalable, distributed query execution. Now, switching back to the SQL editor, it's really easy to scale out my table across the cluster. I can use this first SQL command to specify the table to distribute, which is cases, and the column to shard on. I've done that already, so now I'll run this next query to show that the table is distributed across 4 nodes with 8 shards on each node. And what's great is that I can run the exact same similarity search query on the distributed table in my cluster with 0 code changes, and it just works. So now let's look at the throughput improvement for my AI app running on the Postgres Elastic Cluster. On the left side is the 1-node performance test that we ran earlier, and on the right is the new 4-node Elastic Cluster running the exact same workload. Now remember that the 1 node could only support about 2,000 transactions per second, but the Postgres cluster is running over 8,000 transactions per second, which is great 4x scale. The new Elastic Cluster scale-out feature in Flexible Server, combined with a distributed vector index, is a great platform for building massively scalable AI apps using Azure Database for Postgres. Back to you, Arun.
Thank you so much, Charles. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about what's coming to Microsoft Fabric. With Fabric, you get an end-to-end platform that's built from the ground up to power your AI transformation. You get all of the core capabilities you need to go from raw data to AI or BI value in the hands of your business users. Fabric has a set of core workloads. Each of them are purpose-built for a specific persona, like a data scientist, a data engineer, a data warehousing professional, or a BI professional. But it's not just simply a bundle of products. All of these products, all of these workloads have been re-engineered to work together seamlessly with unified experiences, a unified architecture, and a unified business model. Well, we have some exciting announcements here at Ignite. Today, we announced the general availability of real-time intelligence. Now, we know that there's a ton of real-time data out there, data from IoT devices, application telemetry, logs, etc. But real-time data is notoriously hard to work with. With real-time intelligence in Fabric, we make it drop-dead simple to work with real-time data in an integrated SaaS service. We not only support Azure services for real-time data, but we also fully support Confluent Kafka, AWS Kinesis, and Google PubSub. Now, the next announcement I wanted to talk about is really the biggest addition to Microsoft Fabric ever since we launched Fabric a year ago. We're bringing operational databases natively into Fabric, starting with our flagship Azure SQL database, which is now available in public preview. And the reason we're doing this is we believe the differences between operational databases, document databases, in-memory databases, vector databases are blurring as you mix and match these capabilities in most of your AI projects. And Fabric is aggressively driving this convergence so that we can accelerate your time to value, we can drive down your costs, and we can power your AI transformation. Now, Fabric's vision has really resonated with customers, and the momentum we've seen with Fabric has just simply been staggering. In just 1 year since launch, Fabric now has over 16,000 paying customers, pretty much in every industry, every geography, and that includes over 70% of the Fortune 500. Let me just give you 3 quick examples. Chanel, one of the world's largest companies in fashion, chose Fabric as a next-generation data platform. Epic, one of the world's leading healthcare companies, chose Fabric to be their next-generation analytics platform because of the strong enterprise capabilities and also the power of the unified multi-cloud data lake that is OneLake. And Denner Motorsport, the group behind Porsche Cup Brazil, selected Fabric with real-time intelligence to deeply understand their cars as they're literally racing around the track. Now, while 16,000 customers is fantastic, the opportunity to accelerate our customers' data and AI journey is just so much larger. And one example where we have democratized access with customers is really Power BI. Power BI today has over 375,000 customers, including 95% of the Fortune 500, and 6.5 million developers who build on Power BI every single month. Now, this chart that you see here is the actual usage growth of Power BI since we launched, and you can see that ever since we launched Fabric, the growth has only accelerated. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that I'm sure there's a ton of Power BI customers here in the audience or online, and for every Power BI customer, for every Power BI developer, Fabric is just one click away. We provide a free Fabric trial for any developer, and we give each developer $17,000 of capacity over 2 months without requiring a credit card or an Azure subscription, so you can build something real and see what Fabric can do for yourself. To show you Microsoft Fabric, let's roll the video.
My company, Contoso Wireless, is using Microsoft Fabric to unify our entire data estate so we can build a new generation of AI apps. And like most companies, Contoso Wireless has data everywhere. Fortunately, Fabric makes it easy to bring it all together. For example, our customer loyalty data is in Snowflake, Azure Databricks has the sales data, Dataverse has the customer support systems, Cosmos DB has the retail order tracking, and we can get our product inventory and catalog from Amazon S3 buckets. And not only that, we have streaming data for product deliveries we need to integrate as well. Let me show you how easy Fabric makes it for us to access all of these sources in a single unified lakehouse that is always up to date and in sync with the underlying systems. Let's create a new lakehouse, which is automatically provisioned and ready to use in seconds, and it's where we'll unify our data. Developing solutions in Fabric is easy, and it lets me work with any kind of data. Let's start by creating some shortcuts. Shortcuts let me access data through Fabric, but connect it directly to the underlying systems, so we're not actually copying the data. I just select the source and pick the data I want, and instantly it's available to use. And Fabric goes even further in letting us unify every type of data. It has a complete workload for real-time intelligence built in. This makes it easy to integrate real-time data with built-in support for a wide range of sources across Azure Event Hub, Azure IoT Hub, Amazon Kinesis, Confluent, and more. And in the Real-Time Hub, we've unified all of our organization's real-time feeds, making it easy to build on what we've already created. In this case, we've already set up a stream for shipment delivery notifications coming from Apache Kafka. If I open up the stream, with just a few clicks, I can configure it so it'll also send data to our lakehouse so we can integrate the data there as well. Switching back to the lakehouse, between our shortcuts, mirroring, and real-time feed, now we have data from 6 different clouds all easily integrated without any complex ETL or unneeded duplication of data. And we've brought in more than just tables of data. Here you can see we've also created shortcuts to text documentation files and images from our product catalog so we can integrate them into our AI apps as well. And now that we've unified all of our different data, I can use the SQL endpoint for the lakehouse to write a single SQL query that runs across all 6 of the different sources without me having to know or care that it's a mix of data sitting in AWS, mirrored from Cosmos DB, or being fed from a real-time stream. Every Fabric workload can now operate on the same one copy of our data. And since Fabric supports all of our data workloads end-to-end, we can use it to deliver the entire data layer for our AI applications. If I switch to one of my project workspaces, you can see a task flow diagram for the full solution end-to-end, all built in Fabric. In this example, Fabric is powering the data layer for one of our OLTP apps. This includes everything from data integration, to AI models for enriching data, to real-time eventing, and even invoice generation and reporting. And now, this also includes a fully featured SQL database from the new Databases workload in Fabric. Our SQL database in Fabric is not only integrated seamlessly with all of these other workloads, but is also self-optimizing with auto-tuning built in. Best of all, across all of these workloads, including databases, we have Copilot built in to help me work even faster, so now writing SQL is easier than ever. And most importantly, Fabric has full source control integrated with Azure DevOps and GitHub, so my organization can build, deploy, and manage everything in Fabric within our existing development processes across the board. As you've seen, Fabric is a game changer for both making it simple to unify all of our organization's data, and with every data workload integrated, providing a complete data platform for all of our AI-powered applications.
So I hope you got to see the power of Microsoft Fabric. And please go check it out. Go sign up for your trial. Thank you. So to talk to you about the amazing Azure infrastructure on which our data and AI services are built, I'd like to welcome Jeremy back on stage. Thank you.
It's good to see you all again. Thanks, Arun. And look, you've just had a tour of the data and AI layers of the Copilot and AI stack. And now let's spend some time on the foundation that supports and enables all of this, the core infrastructure. Now, this foundation has the power you need to run and scale AI at the highest levels of performance and efficiency. It builds on security at every layer, and it's a platform that's purpose-built not just for AI, but for building for all of your apps, databases, and specialized workloads. Now, we're pushing innovation across the entire system, end to end. From the data centers to advanced silicon, we aim to deliver this cohesive and high-performing infrastructure for your most critical workloads, all optimized, again, for AI. And to do this, we're bringing together the best of the industry expertise with the best of Microsoft's own innovation, starting with our own chips, the Maia and Cobalt chips specifically here. And with the Maia 100, our AI accelerator, this has been introduced into the fleet and running production workloads on our fleet with Azure OpenAI services. And Cobalt, this is our ARM-based CPU, became generally available in October. And it delivers 50% improvement in price and performance on VMs and is used by customers like Databricks, Siemens, and Snowflake. And we continue to deepen our partnership with AMD and NVIDIA. With the VRAM capacity, AMD's MI300X is attracting customers like Black Forest Labs, who are creating some of the most highly responsive AI models. And with NVIDIA, we're the first cloud provider out there to launch the GB200 VMs, and this is in preview today. And Microsoft's latest results in the MLPerf benchmark for the H200 VM shows twice the performance rate compared to any of our competitors. So let's take a closer look at our NVIDIA partnership in action with this quick video.
As generative AI continues to change the face of industry, Microsoft and NVIDIA are forging a new path of innovation and redefining what AI can do for everyone. Microsoft brings the new NVIDIA Blackwell platform to the cloud, combining the NVIDIA GB200 NVL rack design and NVIDIA Quantum InfiniBand networking to power purpose-built Azure instances that deliver groundbreaking performance for AI workloads. Microsoft infuses innovation at every layer, from our advanced liquid cooling sidekick to technology that boosts and optimizes server processes to security at the hardware level, all enabling optimal performance for the Blackwell platform on Azure to accelerate state-of-the-art generative AI. From turning simple prompts into complex software to transforming intractable questions into historic breakthroughs, generative AI has taken its place at the forefront of human discovery. Together, Microsoft and NVIDIA are powering the AI innovation that empowers greater human invention.
All right. Look, I just think it's great to see all the innovations that video highlights that we're delivering together. And as we deliver these, we're also committed to sustainability, pioneering new innovations from energy-efficient data center architectures to eco-friendly material. Things like, and you hear this, advancing our cooling technologies for GPUs and AI accelerators with our next generation sidekick, liquid cooling unit, or embracing these sustainable building practices, as you heard earlier with Satya, like using cross-laminated timber in our data center construction. Now, using technologies or solutions like this lowers our carbon emissions by 65% compared to traditional concrete. And through initiatives like these, we aim to deliver power without the need of sacrificing sustainability. And so you just saw how we are innovating across every layer of the infrastructure. And this is the same approach we're taking for security. We're building it into every layer so that we stay ahead of the evolving threats. You heard about security commitments throughout the keynotes, and this is something that really truly extends through all of Azure. Securing our platform is our #1 priority, from infusing security into our chips all the way to the resource management and identity verification. And that includes Azure's advanced security measures like our automated threat detection, always-on data encryption, and zero-trust architecture. Now, our commitment to security is unrelenting because we want to ensure that Azure remains the trusted choice for your workloads running on our platform. And I'd like to highlight a few of these recent security advancements we've made over the course of the last year. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA as an example, is the most effective security tool available to fight account compromise. And in October, we required MFA enforcement of all Azure sign-ins, which from our initial research is suggesting this will cut account compromise attacks by 99%. And for confidential computing, we introduced the new H100 confidential GPUs to enhance privacy and security for AI workloads. And for example, these GPUs are used for enabling the confidential inferencing for the Azure OpenAI Whisper model. And for new in 2025, we have our Azure Integrated HSM, which this is our Microsoft security chip that strengthens key management, keeping encryption, and signing keys within the HSM without impacting performance or latency. And finally, our network security perimeter creates a unified firewall for all PaaS resources and helps protect against that data exfiltration. So let's move further up the stack to the workloads. To truly unlock AI's full potential, your business also needs to modernize the applications and data in the cloud. And with Windows Server and SQL Server, you get the best performance and value on Azure, with up to 5 times faster performance on SQL Server and 76% cost savings than run on Azure than on other providers. But it's not just Windows Server and SQL Server here. We're also dedicated to making our platform the choice for the Linux and open source workloads that you rely on too. In fact, you can get up to 192% ROI over 3 years by running Red Hat on Azure. And finally, we continue to invest heavily in our strategic partnerships with the native integrations for your largest third-party workloads, such as SAP, VMware, and Oracle. And now, when you're starting to think about looking at migrating these apps to the clouds, one of the biggest challenges we hear from you is application dependencies. Further, your IT and developer teams have these unique considerations that we have to look at. And with that in mind, I'm pleased to announce 2 new features that streamline app migration experience across your ops and dev teams. The first is a new app migration feature through Azure Migrate that allows you to really move your entire application and the dependent components in one streamlined process. The second is an integration with GitHub Copilot, and it provides AI-assisted code assessment with recommended actions. The key here is that we're making sure that IT teams like yourself have visibility into what's happening, while also giving our developers the opportunity to work directly through the code. Let's take a quick look at the Azure Migrate as a demo.
Our brand new experience is intended to help you navigate your migration journey in a structured manner. You can start by inspecting your inventory and fixing discovery issues, building a business case to understand the value of migration, creating assessments to plan your migration, and finally execute and track your migration. Inventory View helps you identify the infra, web, and data tiers of your applications, covering Windows, Linux, and SQL servers, as well as installed software. To envision savings and return on investment for migrating to Azure, you can create a business case covering all the applications in your IT estate. You can evaluate potential cost savings and model year-over-year cash flow to see how much value you stand to gain from this effort. With a new experience, you can apply tags to efficiently categorize inventory. Let's focus on Parts Unlimited, an app that we are interested in analyzing and migrating. Through the new experience, we can identify workloads that power the application, We can identify that it is a two-tier app, with the web tier based on .NET and the data tier based on SQL Server. We can now group the workloads together using the new tagging feature. You can find the boundaries of a multi-tiered application using Azure Migrate's dependency view, so that no workload powering the application is left behind during migration. You can analyze the strength of the connection to help you understand if the dependency is ephemeral or recurrent, identify dependent processes, and view relevant workload information. You can also build a high-confidence migration plan using Azure Migrate assessments. These assessments help you identify the recommended migration strategy among rehost and replatform scenarios. They also help identify the ideal target Azure services, right-size SKU, estimated cost, as well as migration readiness. The application assessment provides you recommendations based on your migration preference. In this case, our preference is to modernize to pass, as that approach accrues substantial savings, as we saw from the business case report. Here it is evident that we can easily replatform the web tier to AKS and rehost the data tier to SQL Server on Azure VM. At any point in time, you can modify your preference, and Azure Migrate will recommend the appropriate strategy for each workload powering the application.
Nice. Look, it's great to see these innovations. Yeah. And it's just great to see these innovations as we really continue to focus with migration and help simplify your journey to the cloud. Again, Azure is purpose-built for all workloads, from AI workloads, again, to these mission-critical workloads supporting it. And I'd like to highlight an important update that will enhance our support for one of your most important workloads, Oracle. Now, this is a partnership we've shared a lot with you over the year because we were the first cloud provider to make OCI directly available to customers in the Azure data centers. And to share more about some of this and the exciting news we have in this space, I'd like to invite Christine Sarros, who's the SVP of Product Development from Oracle, on stage.
Hi.
Oh.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. 1 year ago at Ignite, we announced the general availability of our groundbreaking joint solution, Oracle Database at Azure, to give customers choice and to combine the best of Oracle and Microsoft in the cloud. With Oracle Database services located within Azure data centers, it makes it easy to combine Exadata and RAC technologies with innovative Microsoft cloud services like Azure AI and Azure DevOps. Today, I am thrilled to announce that we have 9 regions live, and we're on track to expand to more than 30 regions next year. We're also adding support for new capabilities like Microsoft Fabric Open Mirroring and Microsoft Purview for your Oracle data workloads. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in action. In the age of AI, customers expect real-time insights to make business choices at the speed of light. Now Oracle customers that use Microsoft Fabric as their analytics platform can synchronize with data running an Oracle database at Azure. So let's go ahead and get started by creating a mirror database in Microsoft Fabric. We're using Oracle Golden Gate, which is a popular data integration product for Oracle customers to create a connection between the Oracle database and the Microsoft Fabric. First, we'll go ahead and configure Oracle Golden Gate to mirror Oracle data in Microsoft Fabric. The Golden Gate capture process here detects and captures data at the Oracle source. And then the Golden Gate replicat process continuously synchronizes this information to mirror the database in Microsoft Fabric. Now you can get real-time intelligence and insights for your data sets that include your Oracle data. And within Fabric, you can start by building a Power BI dashboard for data visualization and analytics that also includes your Oracle data. And then we can use Copilot to dig even a bit deeper. For example, you can request an executive summary and get an immediate result. Or you can ask for real-time insights. And finally, now you can use Oracle Database at Azure with Microsoft Purview for data governance, security, and compliance. Now you can integrate and establish federated domain data governance to classify and manage your data assets across the enterprise. So today, we've shown you a lot of powerful capabilities to accelerate innovation with the combination of Oracle and Microsoft. These are great examples of how our partnership provides significant value to our mutual customers. Thank you so much. Jeremy, back to you.
Look, thank you, Christine. I really appreciate it, and I just appreciate your partnership for such an important piece. So thanks for joining us. Okay, everyone, now I'm going to hand off to Bernardo Caldas to talk about how we're extending all this innovation anywhere. And this is really, we're going to look at our adaptive cloud, and he'll close out the session. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hi, everyone. I'm Bernardo Caldas. I lead our adaptive cloud product team here at Microsoft. A few years ago, we took a step back to think about how we could deliver Azure capabilities anywhere with an adaptive cloud approach, powered by Azure Arc. It became clear that AI scenarios would require us to deliver cloud and edge together as one continuum. This is truly about us bringing Azure wherever you need it to help you unlock data and insights coming from your business operations, regardless of where your applications might run. In fact, when Forrester surveyed customers, we've learned that 75% of organizations believe it is critical to them to integrate cloud and edge on a single platform. But this paradigm shift isn't starting today. I know many of you are already familiar with Azure Arc. We now have over 39,000 organizations using Azure Arc, and that number is growing 80% year over year. Manufacturers, retailers, governments, financial institutions, healthcare providers, and more. In a moment, you will hear some real examples of what they are doing. You need the right services and tools to help you unify your systems, sites, and teams. Our adaptive cloud approach with Azure Arc helps you secure and manage resources, accelerate application development, and unify data across your estate. Your innovation doesn't need to be limited to our public regions. Computing and data are now everywhere, which in many cases require you to think about how your cloud infrastructure needs might evolve. This morning, Satya announced Azure Local. Azure Local delivers cloud-connected infrastructure wherever you need it. With Azure Local, you can run containers and VMs for AI applications, and this unleashes processing data at the source, business continuity through network disruptions, ultra-low latency applications, all while keeping the data plane, and if needed, even the control plane locally. Azure Local supports a broad set of hardware form factors from our OEM partners, giving you flexibility and choice, from ruggedized industrial gateways to enterprise-class servers. To showcase our solution from a customer voice, I would like to share a story from Coles, one of the largest supermarkets in Australia. And after we watch the video, we're going to show you a live demo in Azure of how this all works. Let's watch.
Most Australians will have shopped at a Coles supermarket at some point. It's really important for us to provide choice for our customers so they can click and collect one day, they can order online and have that fulfilled to their home, or they can pop into the closest Coles supermarket where they are. That scale means that our team members have got a lot to do on a daily basis and a lot to manage here at the Store Support Centre. We chose Azure Microsoft Adaptive Cloud capability and Azure Arc for our intelligent edge backbone because it was robust, flexible, and really tailored our needs, particularly to run containerized applications next to more traditional virtual machines seamlessly. In the past, we might have had to sort of copy-paste a new model into stores hundreds of times. With Azure in our intelligent edge backbone, we can press a button and deploy out a new version, and that has really increased our speed up to 6 or 7 times faster than what we did before. Now that we have laid these foundations with Azure, the infrastructure that we've got in stores gives us such a great platform to innovate on top of to make sure that we're bringing the most value to our customers. There's a lot to look forward to.
That's impressive. 60 times faster application deployment velocity. And this has allowed Kohl's to innovate with AI-powered self-checkout applications and more. Now, I would like to invite my colleague, 𝗬𝗲𝗀𝗀, to join me and show you how it works. 𝗬𝗲𝗀, welcome.
Thank you so much, Bernardo. I really like how Kohl's are adopting our adaptive cloud approach. And you know, like a lot of customers, you saw the thousands of customers that are adopting Azure Arc. We also have Contoso Hypermarket. And Contoso Hypermarket, you know, they have a lot of interfaces, a lot of application, global distribution. What we can see here is just the shopper interface. Here I can show you the manager interface. And you can understand that there is a lot of data coming in. Now, how do you go by and manage this type of stuff? No. So right now, I'm in Azure Arc Site Manager. And Site Manager is basically a new capability that we have to manage sites across the world. And a site is basically a representation of multiple subscriptions and resource groups that you have. Now, I think that because we are in Chicago, it's only fitting for us to go to the Chicago site and take a closer look. So right off the bat, we can see that we're getting the health status, the connection status of a site, and all the resources that we have. If you notice, we also have Azure Local that was announced today. Now, here's the thing. Contoso, they have a lot of things going on, and they have Arc-enabled servers, Arc VM, and a lot of infrastructure. Now, you can also see that they have a lot of alerts, a lot of warnings, and this is messy, and this is how real life are. So in order to help them get going, we're using Azure Copilot. We keep making investments in Azure Copilot, and let me show you just a quick example here. I already asked Copilot because, you know, I'm not super familiar with the process. What are the best practices for managing updates on Arc-enabled servers? And you can already see that Copilot is giving me the direction, the hints, and what I need to do in order to get going. So this is a powerful capability of Azure Copilot, and we continue to invest in that area. Back to you, Bernardo.
Thanks, 𝗬𝗲𝗀. Today, I'm also excited to announce the general availability of Azure IoT Operations. Azure IoT Operations processes and normalizes data from operational devices and assets at the source. You can then analyze data locally for AI-powered insights anywhere, and flow data to Microsoft Fabric for global insights throughout your organization. Now let's take a deeper look at how you can use Azure IoT Operations together with Microsoft Fabric. 𝗬𝗲𝗀, take it away.
Thank you, Bernardo. So I'm back in Contoso Hypermarket, and this is the maintenance worker interface, basically the OT. This is where all the data that is coming from the edge is floating into that interface. And the maintenance worker has a very difficult job because they need to have a vision of all the state that they have on premises. So how do we go about and do that? I'll come back to the Chicago site, and if you pay close attention here, we can see that we have the assets. Now, assets, this is a new resource that now we have. Assets are basically an ARM representation of the physical devices that we have at the edge. And we can see here that I have the dairy fridge, the HVAC, the produce fridge. You know, who would have thought that I will have a dairy fridge in Azure now? So this is where we're at. Let's go to Azure IoT Operations. And this is the Azure IoT Operations Experience portal. And what we see here is the data flow. Now, data flows are a powerful capability of Azure IoT Operations because data flows are designed to put logic on the data that is coming from the source to the destination. So let's take a closer look at what we're seeing here. We see the source. This is the dairy fridge that we just talked about. We have the transform phase, and the transform phase is really important because this is what allows us to put the data, the reasoning over the data that is coming from the edge. This is where we do the contextualization of the data. And most importantly, the endpoint. And we can see here that we have a strong integration to Fabric endpoint. A powerful capability of Azure IoT Operation is to integrate with Fabric. And this is where we're allowing customers to develop their own OT dashboards and real-time dashboards in order to do real-time analytics. So I'll go here to Fabric here, and we can see already the data coming into this Fabric dashboard. This is a real-time dashboard. We can see brightest levels of the lighting systems. We can see power utilization. We have refrigerator power utilization, and many more. So again, powerful integration. Back to you, Bernardo.
Thanks, 𝗬𝗲𝗀. One of the most common use cases for Azure Arc is managing and operating Windows Server. Now, Windows Server Software Assurance and active license subscription customers can access 20+ Azure services at no additional cost for patching, configuring, governing, and securing your Windows Server estate. Let's roll a video that shows Windows Server management in action.
Customers who have Windows Server Software Assurance or are enrolled in Windows Server Pay-as-you-go can benefit from the new Windows Server Management enabled by Azure Arc. Simply select a VM and click on Activate Benefits to enable the following features at no extra cost: Azure Update Manager, change tracking and inventory, machine configuration, and more. Let's look at a few. Change tracking is an essential tool for troubleshooting and diagnosing issues. It allows you to identify system changes, aiding in pinpointing problems more effectively. Currently, it's set to review the past 7 days, but I can adjust it to review the changes from the last 24 hours, 30 minutes, or a custom timeframe. Next, machine configuration links a machine to an Azure policy to audit or configure OS settings as code. I'm checking this non-compliant setup and notice TLS is disabled on this server. With Azure Policy, I can fix this by deploying a TLS policy to all servers in Azure or Arc enabled. The next feature is Azure Update Manager, which displays update statuses across Azure, hybrid, and multi-cloud. Update Manager also enables the delivery of hot patches to Windows Server in Azure and Arc-enabled Windows Server 2025. Now, hot patch is a feature that enables you to apply security updates without requiring a reboot. This is achieved by patching in-memory code of running processes, thus removing the need to restart the process or server. Moreover, hot patches focus solely on security payloads, leading to faster patches that consume less CPU. Rather than having 12 required reboots annually, you will now only have scheduled quarterly reboots. And just like that, the server's been patched. Begin your evaluation today and discover the advantages of hot patching with Windows Server 2025.
So for those of you running Windows Server, this is available now in the Azure portal. Huge thanks to everyone for spending time with us today, learning about innovations in our Copilot stack, the latest in AI and data, and our adaptive cloud. We're deeply grateful for your partnership and your trust in Microsoft. I hope you have a great time here at Ignite. We're excited to connect with you. All our product and engineering teams are here and eager to speak with you. Thank you again.